Hey there, pre-calc students. My name's Fred Sexton. I'm your pre-calculus instructor this semester. You can call me Professor Sexton, or you can call me Professor S, or even Fred's fine with me. I wanted to put together this little video for you, kind of introducing you to some of the different elements of the pre-calculus course that you can expect this semester. I want to run through a couple of the useful websites that we're going to make use of and go over some of the details of the course with you. We'll see how long this video takes. It might be around 30 to 40 minutes. We'll just see here. There's a few things that I want to go through with you. Where you're going to spend a big portion of your time, though, kind of where I'm going to give you a lot of direction in the courses at the website of Blackboard. If we take note how you're going to access Blackboard this semester, is you are just going to use the URL blackboard.lc.edu, and if you put that into your URL, it will bring you to, I gotta log out real quick here just so I can show you. It should bring you to this page right here where you have this big blue Lewis and Clark login button. And if you click on that login button, it will take you over to the login page where you're going to have to log in using your BlazerNet credentials. Now, typically what those are your email address, right, or some variation of your name, first and last, along with a password that you've most likely set up in the past. And if you need any help getting into your Blackboard or your BlazerNet or with your credentials here, you can always give the help desk a call, and they will help you through the process of getting those things corrected. Now, if we sign in, it will take you to Blackboard at Lewis and Clark, the homepage here for all of that, and it does have a couple of things around the peripherals here, but right in the middle is where we're going to be focused for today, and that is on our courses. If you open up the Fall 2020 list of classes underneath my courses, you will see all the courses you're enrolled in that have a Blackboard element to them presented. Now, I have all math courses here, so you'll see all math courses listed for mine, but I'm certain you might have your psychology course or maybe your speech courses listed here also. All right? What we're going to be taking note of is this pre-calculus course. Now, I will point out that this pre-calculus course says it's currently not available, but I will be, by the time this this video goes up, I'll be opening that course up and making that all available to you. And I'll send you some information about that via email, some announcements here, folks. But if we click on that course, it will bring you to the home page for the course, right? This is called the course notification page. If you ever need to return to this page, when you're in this Blackboard course, that's just the very first link, course notification page over here on the left. Click that, it will bring you to this page. This page does list out some announcements here on the left, and over here on the right, it's just, anything new that I happen to add might show up here. There's a to-do list that you might make use of over here, right? But most of what you're going to be looking for is found through the links over here on the left-hand side. Any announcements that do post here will also be gathered here underneath the announcements tab in case these rotate out over 30-day time period. And if you're looking for where we might start today here, then is with the course outline. If we click on that course outline, this is going to bring us over to the syllabus for this course. All right, this would be the syllabus for the course that I would typically share with you in the first days of the class. In this syllabus here, it does start off with, what days of the week we do happen to meet. We do take note. We do meet Monday and Wednesdays 3 to 3:50, and Tuesdays and Thursdays from 3:05 to 4:20 on the schedule. I do have the course times set so that the Zoom meeting times are always consistently 3:05 to 2:55 to 4:20 in behavior, just to be able to cover this entire time frame, folks, and not have to set up a bunch of multiple meeting options. But you will note the Zoom meeting times are not consistent with the actual class times. We will meet on Zoom during these particular class times as noted below here, right, or as I've highlighted. I do have virtual office hours this semester. I'm not on campus, but if I was on campus, you would find me in Commons 205. I do have some office hours that are posted. That's over here on the left-hand side. These are my office hours and my schedule for this semester. That can be found over here on the office hours and semester schedule link in Blackboard. You can see that I do have a couple of office hours in the evenings on Monday and Wednesdays, and in the mornings and late mornings, early afternoons on Monday and Wednesdays. You can see my Tuesdays and Thursdays are quite busy, so I do use my time in between classes as a break there. Whereas on Monday and Wednesdays, I do have, my day's a little shorter, right? It's certainly in comparison, so I do fill up some of that time with office hours, folks. And with the current pandemic situation and the quarantine, I go nowhere, so I am really technically here, all day, every day, it seems like. So not only am I available during these times, these are the times that I'm taking note on, but I'm available at really any time throughout a given day if we just make arrangements, folks. I'm sitting here in my home office, so I'm certainly always going to be available. I don't go far from here, to be quite honest. Let's see here. Back to the course outline. Ooh. So that is my office hours, and that is that posted spreadsheet where you will find those noted along with my schedule. Now, you certainly could take note of when I'm in class and when I might not be available. Folks, that might be more important this semester. If you ever have to reach me by phone, this is the phone number on campus, and it does forward that to me through the email system. And this is my email address if you ever had to send me an email. A lot more students communicate with me than by phone, but I can get both of those directed to me here at home. All right. This semester we are going to make use of MyMathLab, so I also included some MyMathLab information here. You're going to need the course ID and this access code here in a bit when you get signed up for MyMathLab. MyMathLab this semester is free. It's included in your fees for the course. And all you're going to need is this ID and this access code. And we'll get to that in a moment after we run through this outline. The textbook this semester, I do have the textbook over here. This is our textbook. This is the hardback version of the book. I believe the bookstore has should have the soft cover version available, the 3-ring binder version available for this course. And it should be a relatively inexpensive price, somewhere between $50 and $60, I imagine. If not, if you are looking for a hardback version of this course, this is the 7th edition. I do think it's an 8th edition is out, and that's new. We are going to go with this for one more year because of the current state we're in, and just to make it easy on everybody. So you might be able to find the 7th edition out there pretty cheap if the 8th edition is out and available. But we're going to stick with the 7th edition just for this semester, for this particular school year, just to keep it easy and hopefully maybe can be a little bit more inexpensive on everybody. So that is the Precalculus book. I do strongly encourage you to use the book. I do reference you to the book quite frequently and tell you to work through. I've looked at the sections, the odd problems at the end of each section. There's a lot of good problems in all those problems. So I am going to kind of direct you there for some practice. So the book is going to come in handy there. And there is a free copy of the book available to you on MyMathLab, and I'll take a moment to show you some of that when we get there. All right. But I do encourage you to pick up a copy of the book or to make use of the e-text that's available online. All right. To get in this course, you need placement by exam or C or better in Math 116. And in terms of that C or better in Math 116, this is an accelerated kind of what we might say is algebra and trigonometry class. Precalculus is in a sense algebra and trigonometry, college algebra and trigonometry combined into one course and accelerated, right? You're getting all of the Precalculus material, all the material you would need to hopefully see some success in calculus here in just one course instead of having to take both a college algebra and a trigonometry course. So this is a bit accelerated in terms of its pace and in terms of its material. Not so much, but really pace. You know, you're going to see the college algebra material presented here for the first half of this semester, and a little bit at the end of the semester, and right at the middle mark of the semester, we are going to delve into trigonometry for a examination in there, right, for a couple of the weeks, for about 4 or 5 weeks. All right, so it is a mix of the calc and the trig. It is a mix of the calc and the trig, folks, and it is accelerated in its pace. You can read through the course description here. I'm not going to read through that, but one thing we will note is we are essentially covering these chapters. Chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and some of chapter 11. And what I did include in the parentheses after each chapter were the sections from the chapter that we were going to focus in on, but a lot of the in-between sections where we may happen to be skipping over a bit of items is actually review material. For instance, here in chapter 1, we really are going to spend our time focused on 1, 2, and 1, 5. But the 1, 1, the 1, 3, and the 1, 4 are all review material. It's all stuff you should know and that I'm going to kind of hold you accountable for. All right. Same goes with chapter 2. 2, 1, and 2, 2 is review material over functions. All right. So anywhere you kind of see that, especially at the beginning of the chapter, and that's really chapter 1 and chapter 2, if I take note, and maybe some of 11. I think 11, we get to the point where it just really breaks up in terms of ideas. All right. But we are going to skip over a few elements here and there. Some of it is not necessarily need to be covered either in each of these chapters. But I did try to make sure I put up here the chapters that we would certainly be focusing in on in terms of material as you prepare. You are going to want to have the textbook this semester, Blackboard access, which you should hopefully have through the college, right? Through your BlazerNet. MyMathLab access, which you get for free, right? Or you paid for with your class or your course fees, which I give to you up here. And a graphing calculator. If you're somebody that was really relying on that graphing calculator from your previous algebra courses, I'm not going to take it away from you. And there are actually some skills I'll probably end up showing you on it this semester. So I'll make sure that you hang on to that and that you have that handy throughout the course. Now, how are you going to be evaluated this semester? That is broken down here. Essentially, there are 3 types of grades. You have weekly attendance and participation grades. These are often items that are presented to you via Blackboard, right? What you'll notice over here is there is a course content link, and I will jump over there in a moment after we get through this outline and show you what's under there. But I do break up the content for the semester by week, right? There's a week worth of content underneath here in this course content, and in that includes some assignments, and will include some assignments week for week, and all those will total up to and weight against each other evenly, and be 15% of your final grade in the end. So take note, that's where 15% of your final grade will come from. It's just attending on a regular basis and participating in these activities that we do with each other in our synchronous class times, or even outside and in between class times. Excuse me. This is my 3rd video for the day, my 3rd hour of talking, so I'm a little dry, especially since I haven't talked much over the summer. So I am a little harsh getting back here into the semester. The second category of your final grade comes from MyMathLab Quizzes. That's 15% of your final grade. Over on MyMathLab, the only thing I'm taking for a grade from there are your quiz grades. Those are all going to average to your MyMathLab average grade, and that would be your quiz grade that I would import over here into Blackboard, right? I will just go over every once in a while and average up those MyMathLab quiz grades and bring them over here to Blackboard and put them in the grade book as a single average. All right, and that average will weight to 15% of your final grade. All right, and then the third category of grades comes from exams. My plan to this semester is to have 4 exams, one about every 4 weeks. right? Not quite 4 weeks. It's going to be a little under 4 weeks. Well, we have about 16 and a half weeks this semester, with Thanksgiving week not really counting, but having a course or two during that week. So we're going to have to kind of pace it out so that we can fit in 4 exams this semester. And then what I also do at the end of the semester is give an optional final exam. All right. Each of your exams will count for 17.5% of your final grade for a total. If there's only 4 of them, and in terms of final grade, that's going to be 70% of your final grade, and then the other 30% coming from these attendance and participation and quiz grades on MyMathLab. All right. Now, I do go into a little bit more detail in these categories down below, but one of the big things I want to point out in that detail is that I don't have makeup and makeup dates. Right. I don't plan to give makeups on these attendance and participation grades. There's hopefully going to be an abundance of those throughout the semester. And I do plan to drop 2 or 3 at the end of the semester, most likely 3, right? At the least there. So, well, I should say 3 at the moment, right? 2 or 3, or really 3, if I say that, of these grades throughout the semester. So if you happen to miss 1 or 2 or have a low grade on a few of them, it's not going to be a big deal, right? Even if you get a couple of low grades on these, it's probably not going to be a big deal if we have an abundance of these throughout the semester, right? And they're low stakes in terms of how much they're worth, in terms of points that can be deducted and whatnot, all right? Where you are held a little bit more higher in accountability are on these quizzes, but I also plan to drop a few of those by the end of the semester, right? So missing a few of the weekly quizzes, or missing a few of the, or having a few low grades in this category, is not going to hurt you overall. They will be dropped from the system, right? What you want to not do, though, is not do any of your quizzes, because that will certainly hurt your final grade in the end by a letter grade and a half. And not to participate will hurt you by another letter grade and a half, and you better be then performing 100% on all your tests, because that's the only way you're going to pass with a 70% or better. All right. I don't allow for makeups on exams, right? Either, folks. If you happen to miss an exam date, right? And the way that we end up making that up, that's where the optional final exam comes into play, right? The final exam is optional, and it will replace your lowest test grade in the end. So if you take all 4 exams and one of your grades is really low and you're not happy with it, you can take the final and replace that grade. And it is a comprehensive final, right? If you miss a test, you can take the final and replace that grade. All right. Everybody gets 1 in a sense. All right. You want to make sure you practice this semester, folks. You want to make sure you practice the odd problems from the end of the sections here. Those are always good practice from the book. And then you want to look at MyMathLab. I present a lot of practice to you folks. And I will tell you, working through these items is not always just enough practice. All right, folks, working through these are just not enough practice. And I have a lot of students who just spend their whole time focused on these 2 items throughout a week. And that's not where you want to balance all your time. You do want to just balance your time sometimes on some independent practice, trying some problems on your own during your free time, right? You want to use your time wisely, folks, right, as you approach the semester in terms of these assignments and your practice, right? Again, I do give MyMathLab for practice, and we'll get over there in a moment. Then we get to my notes, just about with respect to the semester. A couple of them that I will point out here. We are looking to create a virtual learning environment this semester, folks. And one of the ways that we're going to engage in this environment and communicate with one another is that we're going to try to use webcams and be able to communicate with each other visually and verbally. It's not going to be enough just to be able to sit down and try to chat by typing out a text to one another through the chat box in a Zoom session, right? We are going to want to be able to communicate with each other verbally as well as visually this semester. So I am going to really strongly encourage you to obtain a web camera this semester and to join our Zoom sessions on that web camera. Now you're welcome to turn that camera around or away from yourself and every now and again if you'd like. If you have to, take a moment and step away. I'm not going to hold any of that against you. But certainly, I want you to feel part of the group. Right? Your classmates are going to most likely be on camera. A lot of your classmates most likely will be on camera. And I want you to feel like you're part of the community, folks. And that's going to help build that aspect. So that is something you want to consider here as we get into the semester. If you haven't done so already. And I know a lot of your faculty are most likely going to require that this semester, so it's something you ought to consider. Standard grading scale, 90, 80, 70, 60 is how it breaks down, A, B, C, D. Attendance is mandatory in our synchronous meeting times, and if you miss a time, you're responsible for that material. I don't know if I plan to record too many sessions because I do want students to be open to be on web camera, right? To be on their webcam. So, but I do plan to, if you happen to miss a session, to share with you that material underneath the weekly summary of the course and the course content up there. And I'll point some of that out as we finish up a class. If I leave anything to be done in between class or to give you another assignment during the class, that's where I would certainly post those things that you might happen to miss in a synchronous class meeting. All right. If you have any special learning accommodations, take note of note 4. Counseling, we have counseling and veteran services on campus. Make sure that if you're in need of those services, that you take advantage of those services. Note 7 is our diversity statement. You can read through that, folks. And note 8 then gets into our virtual meeting policy and how we have to just be able to respect one another and all that good stuff. And my hope is, again, to not have to record these sessions so that we can feel safe being on the web camera. And then the last bit gets into cheating and plagiarism and unauthorized collaboration, folks. One of your very first assignments kind of gets into this a little bit, where we just want to make sure that we don't put our academic integrity in jeopardy by behaving inappropriately in terms of collaboration, in terms of presenting our own work. All right, folks? So you can take note of those items here in note 9, 10, 11, and 12. And 13 even, all right? And then lastly, this is kind of the state we're already in, right? Note number 14 says if anything, an emergency was to happen, how would things be handled? Well, we're kind of in that state as it is, folks. We're here on Blackboard. We're using Blackboard to deliver this material to you and have this virtual semester. So number 14 is in effect right now. And then any changes I do happen to make this semester, I will certainly announce those in class. And I always, when I make changes, I try to make them with the viewpoint of a student and what would be fair to that student. All right. So, folks, I always keep that in mind as I make changes. And there will be changes. There's always changes. This is a fluid system. Let's watch our time. Okay, so let's go over here some other. So that's the course outline, folks. You can read through that also. Just it's always up here underneath the course outline. Blackboard calendar. Once I start posting test dates and everything, and your assignments pop up here, these will report those. And this actually, I think, reports it for all of your classes. And you can single out what class you want it to show up, which assignments for up here. But this will help keep track of your schedule throughout the semester. Course content, this is what I wanted to get into. As I said, I'm going to kind of organize this by week, and I don't have 17 weeks planned out here, folks. I have 1 week planned out. There's nothing hidden, all right? I have a goal for week 1 this semester, and as we start to wrap up week 1, I'm going to set my week 2 goals, all right? And you'll see week 2 appear up here, and then follow that with week 3 and week 4. You might want to plan for our first test sometime during week 4. From what I am seeing, it's probably going to be the end of week 4 when I look at the material that I want to test through. It's probably going to be the end of week 4. It is going to include the first 3 chapters. All right. I'm going to try to cover about a chapter a week. These first 3 chapters, a lot of it, some of it is review, not a lot of it, but there are a few sections that are review in there, and then what that leaves behind is about 10 sections. Yeah, 10 sections over the first test. And I think in 3 weeks, with 5 credit hours a week, that is something that is certainly something we can accomplish with this material, right? If we jump into it and get it started, right? So around week 4, you can expect the end of week 4 most likely going to be that first test, right? And we'll get into the test as we approach that date. And when I have you folks in front of me, maybe in our very first meeting, I'll get into some of those ideas. What I'm thinking about for our test this semester. If we click into week 1, I do give you some directions for the week, right? This week, make sure you're reading through the course outline, taking note of the calendar and office hours and schedules. Just take note that we have a lot to cover in the 16, 17 weeks that we have this semester. We have 5 credit hours a week to cover it and plan to put in some load to get through this material. All right. You're going to want to complete the course outline quiz that's down below here. One of the first grades you have in this attendance and participation is this course outline quiz. It's just a quick little quiz presented on Blackboard here that quizzes you over what I've said so far in my presentation, and it can be found here in the course outline and what you can kind of expect for this semester, my expectations for you this semester. And that is what then that's followed by and the academic integrity short essay presented below. I also have you do a quick little short essay over the topic of academic integrity, which does require you to look at this PDF document. All right. And what I would like you to do in this PDF document, it's a little ways in. It does introduce what is called the International Center for Academic Integrity, and it does show all the different associations that endorse this document. All right. And then it gets into what is academic integrity, why it's important, and gets into the fundamental values of that integrity. And it follows up with highlighting each of those values: honesty, trust, fairness, respect, responsibility, and then lastly, courage. All right. So you want to read through the starting about page 16 and beyond, and write a short little essay about what I ask for here. It doesn't have to be pages long, folks, but just enough to give me what I'm looking for would be fine with me. But this is then your second assignment for the week that appears here. All right. From there, you then want to also begin by reading through and becoming familiar with the material presented in Chapter 1 of the textbook, sections 1.1 through 1.5. And again, sections 1.1, 1.3, and 1.4 are considered review. You may still want to review that material. Follow this by working through the practice exercises found at the end of each section. Right? These exercises are just for practice and will not be taken for a grade. All right? And then complete the MyMathLab quiz over week 1 material found on MyMathLab. That will be taken for a grade. And then complete any other assignments presented below. Since these 2 items here, or anything I happen to present up in class. Like I said, if you happen to miss class, this is where I would come to see about anything that you could perhaps turn in still for that class period. Now down below here, I do give you some extra notes and videos pertaining to Chapter 1 material, and I probably should reference this in my directions. You probably will see these directions change slightly so that it also references these folders down below here. But these folders down below here are some material that I have prepared in Blackboard that review over and present these Chapter 1 topics. And at the same time, I've curated some videos for you found out there on YouTube that kind of cover these topics. So if you're looking for some video help, there's a little bit down there in those folders over Chapter 1. As you're reviewing through the book material, if you're looking for extra help, I've given you what are essentially sets of class notes down below here, because I'm not really going to lecture to you in class, folks. All right, that's all this down below here. All right, what I'd hope to do in class is a few more activities. All right, and try to be a little bit more active with each other in class. All right, and then so that is all found down below there if you're looking for a little more help in your study of the material and your practice of it all. All right. So that is how your weeks are going to kind of play out, and what will also show up here in all of this, I said will likely be, and maybe an assignment or two for the week that will count towards your weekly attendance and participation grade. And we're going to kind of see how dependent or independent we are this semester, folks. We may or may not use every single class period during a given week, but I will try to give you a heads up at the start of the week what days we might be considering meeting and what days might be considered a little bit more of an independent study throughout the week. But I kind of want to gauge my student body before I do that and make some solid plans there. So that is all to come in terms of how, kind of how the semester is going to play out. My hope is to meet, Monday to kind of go through some of this stuff with you for that first 50 minutes. Make sure everybody's on the right page if you haven't seen this video yet. And then on Tuesday to make sure that we meet so we can kind of get started with some of the first early activities into this chapter. And then maybe Wednesday we'll see where we're at and how we want to handle Wednesday. Excuse me. I know most likely on Thursday we're going to want to get together again and use that longer class period to kind of maybe do a couple of activities to wrap up the Chapter 1 material. My hope is to be through Chapter 1, to be wrapping it up by the beginning of next week, right? Monday of next week, folks. Take note. All right? So, what else do we have over there on that sidebar? Let me go up. I think MyMathLab is the next place we want to jump over to and take quick note on. Now, how you get to MyMathLab, you can see I did put that web link over on the left-hand side. It is mymathlab.com. It will take you over to MyMathLab, right? This Pearson site. You're going to want to register as a new student. You're going to need an email address, or you're going to need your old account. If you already have a MyMathLab account, you can use that. You're going to need that course ID, which is found back here on the course outline. That's this number Sexton 74813. Right? That's going to go in for the course ID, and then when it comes to the payment page, don't pay them anything. You have an access code that gets you in for nothing, right? That access code is this, right, string of words or nonsense here. That is your MyMathLab access code, right? You would put that in. You could just copy and paste it over, and it works, right? If we hit OK Register now, you can see this is where you would put in that course ID, that Sexton number, right? And then hit continue. You could either then set up an account or sign in with your old account, and then it's going to ask you for that access code. All right. Now, once you do sign up for MyMathLab and go through that registration process as a student, you can then sign in. Once you sign in, you're going to see your math courses or your MyLab courses laid out here. This is my MATH134 Precalculus Fall 2020 is what you're looking for. These are the other courses that I have set up so far this semester. If we click on that MATH134 course, it will take you over to the MyMathLab homepage for this course. I don't do a lot on MyMathLab, folks. I don't post anything here. All my stuff is on Blackboard, right? The only thing I use MyMathLab for is for quizzing and practice. And it's where you access your e-text. All right. Where you're going to find the quizzes and the practice is under assignments. If you click on assignments, the assignment should appear for the Chapter 1 material. All right. And I have practice over 1-1, 1-2, 1-3, 1-4, and 1-5 available. And then you have your week 1 quiz available. And this quiz is due a week from Monday at 11:59 p.m. Like I said, this week 1 quiz is over these 5 sections of material, all 5, right? We are going to just spend our time really try to focus in on 1, 2, and 1-5 in class this week. But all 5 are going to be held accountable for. These others are review, right? So make sure that you're spending a little time in all 5. And then that week 1 quiz will be due on Monday. Like I said, I want to wrap up Chapter 1 on Monday, by Monday of next week. All right, that is my goal. As week 2 approaches, you'll see practice for chapter 2 appear, and some the week 2 quiz appear. All right, in that material. All right, so that is where you're going to find your MyMathLab material, the practice homeworks and the quizzes that you will be given for a grade, and your first one is already out there ready to be taken. And you can take it an infinite number of times before the due date, but again, folks, there are no makeups on the test, or are no makeups on these quizzes, assignments, or on test days. All right, so take note. The e-text, if we go over and take a quick peek at that. See how long this takes to open. Sometimes these don't open the quickest. It says it's coming. Okay, here we go. That took a while. See, I'm going to flip to a page here. See, section 1.5 starts on page 45. Let's see what their page 45 looks like. They should be very similar here, folks, as this opens. Yep, that is the cover to our book. I showed you earlier there. And if I go to page 45, that is section 1.5. And you can see that is very similar to page 45 of this text. If I can get that to show. They are identical, folks. Right? So the e-text is available out there for free, folks, on MyMathLab, and it is identical to the hardback copy of the book that you could find on Amazon or Chegg, and the 3-ring binder version that should be available in the bookstore. All right. So that is the e-text, folks. I like physical copies, but I know some students prefer e-textbooks, and that is available to you. All right. That is the MyMathLab. That's all I'm going to be using MyMathLab for this semester, folks. Now, if I return, what else was there? My YouTube channel, folks. That's where this video is currently being hosted at. If I happen to do videos for you folks this semester, if I do any videos for you specifically, I will post them up to the YouTube channel. My YouTube channel is called PiJamaMath. It's basically a play on the word pajama, right? And with the number pi there at the beginning, and JAMA, right, mixed together. Just a little play on the idea that we are currently in the state of learning virtually, where it's like, hey, put on your comfortable pants and come down and sit down and learn some math, right? So my YouTube channel is PiJamaMath. If we link over to that, if I do happen to post any videos here for your class, you might want to subscribe to my channel. I don't know how many videos I will get posted here. I do occasionally work through problems. I did that in college algebra last semester. I don't know how much we'll be doing that. I'll most likely be doing more work together in class with one another. And I like to curate some videos. Find videos out there that are already made over these topics. There's not much out there on my calculus, especially my upper level. But with pre-calc topics, there's a lot out there that people have already put together. And I'm going to probably spend more of my time curating videos for you folks than actually publishing and producing videos. All right, but I will get a video up for you every now and again, and when I do, it will come up to this channel here on YouTube. And then lastly, we are going to meet through Zoom, folks, as I've kind of highlighted. I will send you a Zoom invitation through your email, and that Zoom invitation is going to include this meeting link, which if you're on a computer, you should be able to just click that link. And if you already have Zoom installed, it's going to say, hey, do you want me just to open up this application for Zoom? And you would just say, yeah, open link. Or if this is the first time you're running Zoom, you may have to hit this download and run Zoom button, right? And get you into the Zoom application. And I think a lot of your instructors, if you're taking several courses on out at Lewis and Clark this semester, are going to most likely be meeting through Zoom. So if not in my class, in somebody else's class, you've most likely already gotten this set up. When you do link through this link to get to the Zoom session, the class meeting, you are most likely going to be asked for this meeting ID, which is given right here. And after you enter that meeting ID, you most likely will be asked for the passcode. And that is what's given right here. All right. If you're having trouble dialing or connecting through a computer or internet access, you can also dial in using your smartphone, right? And there are a couple of ways of going about doing that. There is a Lewis and Clark link for actually obtaining, finding a number, a local number that'll allow you to dial in and gain at least some microphone access, all right, to Zoom in during this or at least during a class period or so. All right. So I'll send you that in a separate email. I've got an announcement I'm putting together for you, and hopefully you've already gotten that, which has kind of directed you to this video. But there's going to be another a Zoom meeting email that we'll follow up with that will have. I'm not going to have all these dates in there. I'll probably just copy and paste this over from here, right, and share that with you folks. So expect that. I don't know. What else is there? I don't know if there is anything else. I'm looking forward to an exciting semester of Precalculus. I teach a lot of calculus, folks. Calc 1, Calc 2, Calc 3 courses. And I teach a lot of the upper level math. And if you're in a pre-calc course, chances are you are going on to take you're planning to take a calculus course. So I really know what you're going to need to kind of spend some time focused in on to see some success in those calculus courses. So, I do look forward to a good semester. Hopefully by now, if you're watching this video now, we've already met and had our first class period, and you're off to a good start, right? If you know anybody that's had me before, hopefully they've told you that you're in for a treat this semester with me. I am doing things a little differently in the past because we are in this virtual learning environment. So things are going to be different, but hopefully are going to be better than what they were also in the past. So, with all that said, I hope you're all doing well, hanging in there, and if you see this before Monday, I'll see you on Monday, and if you're watching this after Monday, it was nice to see all you, and I hope to see you back on Tuesday, and we'll continue from there. So stay posted, folks, and I will see you in class.